Hey, Tony Gas is here, popping in for a little video. Now, I want to talk to you about not rushing marriage and picking the right spouse. This is not easy. It's something that, as you see, 50, 60% of marriages got wrong. So, although we need to get married, I'm a firm believer in marriage. And the reason why I'm a firm believer in marriage, it's not about the government, it's not about a piece of paper and all of that. The reason why I'm a firm believer in marriage is because it's a covenant. When two humans can say, I vow to love you until death do us part. And we can say, well, why can't we just say that without having a wedding ceremony in the courthouse or in front of friends and family and signing a document, a legal document? The reason why we can't just say that is because of the world we live in, and that is the laws of the land. We live in a world that in order for something to be passed, it must be written and it must be signed. So it's the same reason you won't start a company and then let someone tell you, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million for 1%, and then transfer 1% to them without receiving the $1 million and doing a contract. In our world, in order for it to be real, it needs to be on paper and it needs to be signed. That way, if we don't keep our word, there are repercussions. If we just tell someone, I'm going to love you until death does us part, and I just wake up one day and decide I no longer want to do that, there is nothing the woman can do. But if I marry her and I sign the dotted line, and even if I do a prenup, it's going to be negotiated in a way that if I just wake up one day and want to change my mind because I chose the wrong person, or meaning if she cheats on me, that means I chose the wrong person. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't take enough time to really get to know the character of this woman. If I get bored with her, if I meet somebody else, if I just want to, I think another woman is an upgrade, and I decide I don't want to be married anymore. If I didn't marry that woman, there is nothing she can do. But if I marry her, now there's some recourse. Now she can get half, or she can get what the prenup says she can get. But she gets something for putting her life on the line, putting her life on hold, agreeing to marry me, and then me not keeping my word. And so that is why I believe in marriage. Now, outside, and that's just a logical and practical reason. Outside of me being a Christian and believing in the Holy Bible and that fornication is a sin, is the other reason why I believe in marriage. But I'm not just getting married because of my religion or God. I'm also getting married because I believe in marriage. And I believe in signing the dotted line with my word and getting the person I'm sleeping with to sign the dotted line with their word as well. And to be honest with you, I believe that it is a trick of the enemy when people say they don't believe in marriage and they don't want to get married, but yet they want to do everything a married couple does. They want to be with someone, sleep with that person, have children with that person, live with that person. I believe that is started by men and or women who have been hurt, dogged out, mistreated, and they just fed up and over it. But typically it started by men who are scam artists, who want to sleep with a woman, get everything from a woman that a wife would give, but he knows he's not going to be there until death does them part, and he doesn't want to have to pay the piper. So he says he doesn't believe in marriage because of this a government conspiracy, and it's just a piece of paper, and it's putting them people in my business, and like the government paying him attention out of the billions of people in the world. It's like the government don't care nothing about you and your little marriage certificate at all. The president do not know you married. They do not start peeping in your household because your little raggedy marriage certificate came in the mail. It's like, come on now, we have to be honest about this. Now listen to me. When it comes to, y'all got to forgive me, I try to be proper and prim and proper and try to, talk proper for y'all, but yeah, where I'm from, I always happen to seep out. So y'all forgive me for the eloquent, articulate, proper speakers who watch the videos. Now, listen to me. When it comes to choosing the right spouse, you have to take your time. So what I mean is, I don't mean 5 years, 7 years, unless it just absolutely is necessary. But on average, not even on average, majority of the time, if you are 25 years old or older, you will know if this is your spouse within 3 years. I used to say 2 years, but the world has changed because of social media and just all of the access, all of the stuff we have at our fingertips. It's just a lot more mask people can wear. So you have to take your time. Never, ever, no matter how amazing the chemistry is, no matter how great the conversation is, no matter how many things you have in common, the morals, the values, if you get pregnant, never get married in less than 12 months. Never get married in less than 12 months. Over the last few years, the word narcissist has become ever increasingly popular. And someone somewhere started teaching on that, and the word just spread like wildfire, and it became a diagnosis, an internet diagnosis for aching hearts. And so people have fallen in love with the term. And I know some people try to say, oh, that word's been around forever. And I knew about that since 2011. Listen, I've been a relationship coach since 2007, meaning doing this work, meaning on the front line, not working a job and doing something completely, a relationship coach dealing in love and relationships. And it's just been the last now, if we count 2019, last 2 to 3 years that the term narcissist has been a buzzword, like totally being used, misused a lot of times, overused a lot of times. But let me tell you, one of the ways that you're going to be able to make sure that the person you're with isn't cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs is by waiting at least 12 months. And even the people who are as crazy as they come cannot fake it for 3 or more years. The people who are as crazy as they come, you're going to have like this less than 1% person. So 99.5% of people cannot fake who they are for more than 3 years. Some event, some conversation, some happening in the world, in life, is going to show you who this person is. And so some questions you have to ask. I don't have any notes on this, but I'm coming from the heart, having a great marriage, almost 15 years of marriage, and just knowing what it takes to be in a successful marriage. Unlike, and yes, this is direct shade, unlike a lot of the other men online talking about love and relationships and trying to tell men and women what they need to do to be in love, but these men not in love and not married and not faithful, and they ain't been married and happy for more than a decade. So it's probably two of us, three of us. But so listen to me. When you look at this person, you have to get to know their temperament. You gotta pay attention to his or her temperament. And when I say temperament, I mean emotional intelligence. Because if a person has a temper, if a person cannot process emotions, if the person cannot be cool, calm, and collected under most circumstances, the marriage is not gonna last. Because that means the person is irrational. It means the person just acts out. It also means if the person doesn't have temperance, if the person is not emotionally intelligent, then what that also means is that this person is more likely to cheat. When things get going, if things get kind of stale, which things get stale in marriages. It's not always hot and steamy and, everybody is just on top of their game. We put on marriage weight. We go through mood swings depending on our job, our income, our family outside of the home, like mother, father, brother, sister, whoever. So a marriage is not all hot and steamy all the time. And to be honest with you, majority of the time it's not hot and steamy. It's a connection. It's a friendship. It's a bond. It's bigger than sex. It's not what the world try to paint it as. And so that's another thing. So after you look at the temperament, you gotta get real. You gotta really talk to people who marry and talk to people who appear to be happy on the outside and who claim to be happy out of their mouth. And do a coaching session, do a counseling session, and say, really give me the real. Like, what's the dynamic of your successful marriage? Talk to the woman by herself, talk to the man by himself, and really understand. Now, what you're going to understand is that it's not one size fits all. You're going to understand that it's different from couple to couple. The personality, the way it mesh, but you're going to find a common theme. And with this common theme, you're going to find that a lot of times opposites attract. You're going to find that the couple may be polar opposites, but their foundation, the core of who they are as people, meaning being good people, will be the same. But their personalities and their preferences, their likes and dislikes, like in food, in movies, in sports, in books, may be completely different. But at the core, meaning if they're both believers or they're both non-believers, if they're both Republicans, if they're both Democrats, at the core of who they are and their principles, their morals and values, if they don't like to get drunk, if they like to get drunk, if they don't like smoking, if they like smoking, their morals and values will be aligned for the most part. And that's the common theme. And so you have to ask this, you got to see. Another thing that you have to do, meaning you got to get real and understand, because one of the biggest mistakes is people going into a marriage believing a fairy tale, believing that you're always supposed to be turned on, believing that it's always supposed to be hot and steamy, believing that you're supposed to cuddle when you sleep, and that if he's not holding you in his arms at night, he doesn't love you. It's just all of this nonsense. If he doesn't open the door, if he doesn't pull out your chair, if she doesn't cook every day or 3 or 4 days a week, if she doesn't clean, if the house isn't spotless, she doesn't love you. She's not a good wife. It's all of these fairy tales that's out there from people who have never had a successful marriage, a long-term successful marriage, that are writing the movies, writing the TV shows, writing the fiction books. And so it's painting this picture, and people are going in and look, believing a Instagram photo, believing a Netflix show, and get into marriage and like, whoa, what is this? It's like being punched in the two front teeth by Mike Tyson. When you realize, oh, this ain't what everybody talking about. Like, we are two real people with real lives, with real issues, with real mood swings, with real personality flaws, with real stuff going on. So when you have two real people who are not robots, it is going to be some ups and downs. It's going to be a learning curve. And so you have to get real before you go into a relationship, before you get married. Now, another thing you want to do before you get married is you really want to vet this person's background, upbringing, family. You got to take your time here. And what I mean by this is you want to go to where they were raised. You want to meet the people who raised them. You want to spend time around their family. And you really want to, you almost psychoanalyzing. I don't even know what that means. Sound good right there though. You almost psychoanalyzing. And you looking and you really seeing like, is the mama crazy? Is the daddy crazy? Is the brother or the sister crazy? And I don't mean that in like a literal sense, like, or derogatory sense. But you just got to see if they are off their rocker. And you got to get the story. It's almost like you got to pretend that you're about to write this person's autobiography. And so you want to have conversations to where you're willing to listen. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is a lot of people want to do all the talking, but not enough listening. And you want to listen to really hear how this person was raised. And you want to hear the details. Remember, if you're reading somebody's autobiography, you know the house they lived in, how many roaches they had, what color the walls were, what color the outside was, how did they get to school, did they go to school, what the school was like, what color their teachers were, what color their friends were, was it males or females? When you read our autobiography, you know all of that. So it's a lot of times as a coach, I'm coaching somebody and I say, so what does your boyfriend do? I really don't know. He does something with construction. So now that could be one or two things. He has an illegal lifestyle, which is more and more common. Or the woman really does not know, because when she go on a date, she doing all the talking. So she does not know. Like, listen, when you with your person, you need to know. Like, I know my wife high school basketball team was a good team and they went to regionals, and I know the coach name. I know the assistant coach name. I know the assistant coach had some breath on him. I know he in prison right now, so it don't matter. So don't y'all. I know he in prison right now for underage dating people underage. I know that on the bus they used to listen to R&B, like Boys to Men and Jagged Edge type, and that she had a teammate that could not sing, and she would sing to the top of her lungs. And that after one of the games, one of the teammates, Tiaqua, jewelry was stole, and she went off. She flipped over the vending machine. She went crazy, and that her or the other point guard played softball. So when they passed the ball, it was so hard you would jam your finger. Like, I know intricate details about my wife's upbringing. I know that she was evicted 16 times from apartments before the 9th grade, and that she has slept in a car before, and that she lived with family members. Her and her mom had to move in with her. Or I know her real story from us talking, from me listening. And I would imagine she know a lot of mine. But, you know, when she go to talking, she talking. And when I go to talking, I'm talking. So I don't know how much she know about me, but I know those things. And this what let me know, okay, this woman come from something. But what it also let me know is where she'll have problems. It let me know where she'll struggle. It let me know where her personality may be a little different. It gave me those things, and then I'm able to say, can I live with this? Can I deal with this type of person? And it's more intricate details that I know that everything can't be shared here, that I had to process and I had to deal with, and I had to help heal her heart so that she could drop her guards, so that she could fall in love. And by taking this time and getting to know her, now we was together for a couple months, and then she broke up with me, and then we got back together, and she got pregnant, and then we was together for 10 months before we got married. So we spent exactly about a year together. But the difference with us is we lived together that whole year. And the other difference is we would talk 6 hours, 8 hours a day. And so most couples talk an hour a day. So our 1 year was equivalent to 6 years of talking, because on average, people talk an hour a day, if that. And so now sometimes people say, well, Tony, you did it this way, you did it that way. Why do you teach it this way? And that should be common sense, but it's not. Because if I did it wrong, I'm not going to teach you to do it wrong. Just because I did it wrong and it worked out, I'm not going to say, hey, take the same chances I took and make the same mistakes I made, and hopefully it'll work out for you too. Because I know I'm an exception to the rule, so I'm going to teach wisdom, logic, practical wisdom, so that you have the best chances for your marriage to work. So in this process of getting to know your partner, so remember, you checking on their temperament, you learning their history and their biography, you getting to know their family, and you getting to know them, you getting the deep stories, the real stories, and you really going there. Because if you talking to a man and his high school sweetheart cheated on him with the star football player, he has trust issues. It's gonna be hard for him to trust you, hard for him to fall in love, and he may dog you out, he may mistreat you, and he may cheat on you just in case you are thinking of cheating on him. He wants to be ahead of you. He wants to beat you to it. So when you hear that from talking to him, now you're able to say, and how did that affect you? And how do you feel now? And what did you do to heal? So now, if he's done no work, did you do therapy? Did you read a book? Did you really analyze the situation and see that you were infatuated with a thought? And if he hasn't gotten to the root, then you know, okay, we need some time. This just added another 3 months, but this 3 months of work, meaning this is about to be 12 counseling sessions or 12 coaching sessions, whichever you prefer. And I know the question, well, Tony, what do you recommend? This is the thing. Counselors, it's a career. A counselor can be passionate. A counselor can use personal experience as well, is what they say. but they're technically not really supposed to, because they have treatment plans. And that's why they have to go to school and get degrees and get licensed and certified in their state. And so they're not supposed to be shade tree wisdom. Some may be doing that. Some maybe read that somewhere in one of the books. And some of them in certain states getting audited for using too much personal wisdom and personal experience in their sessions. But anybody who hires me as a coach, they say I did therapy, but the therapist just asked me the same questions over and over and over every single session, and never told me anything, never gave me any wisdom, never gave me any real, feedback. And I couldn't relate to the therapist because I didn't know her story or his story. And I didn't know if they understood what I have lived through. And that's what I have been told. And that may just be for the people who came to me because their personality is not for therapy. So they came to a coach. There are a lot of people, and you see the commercials and you hear it, who absolutely love therapists. And they don't respect coaches, or they don't like life coaching. So it's a personal choice. It's pros and cons to both. A life coach is not certified by the state, meaning there's no regulation. A life coach can take a training, but a life coach is based on passion and personal experience. It's shade tree wisdom is what I call it. Mother wit. It's passion and personal experience. It's not clinical. Life coaches don't deal in treatment plans that come from hundreds of years of study of humans. A life coach comes from their perspective, their life, the 180 view they've had in life, or if they've had a 360 view. And so you have to pick. And so if it's a perfect life coach that you see, that you hear of, that you meet, that the story resonates, and it can be like personal to you or your person, your potential spouse, then that may be more effective than therapy. If that's not the case, and it really just needs to be talked about, then therapy will be just fine, or coaching will be just fine too. So just understand that. So when you hear these things, if you see work wasn't done, then you say, okay, and you have to oversee this work. And if the person don't want to go to coaching or counseling, you may be able to be that coach or that counselor by really getting to the bottom of it. So me and my wife, being that this what I do, this my gift, I was able to talk to her and get to the root of some things and say, okay, all right, let's really evaluate this right here. And when it comes to this, did you really want to do that? Like, is that based on your personality and your gifts and your passions? Or did that come from your parents? Because they come from the island to America with a dream and a vision. And so they want to see y'all be successful. So that means doctor, lawyer, pharmacist. And they're not really trying to hear about interior designer, clothing stylist, boutique owner, fitness trainer, doctor, lawyer. So is this your gift? Is this your passion? Or is this their idea for you? So we was able to dig, and we was able to do some work, and I didn't know what was sinking in. And I remember hearing her on the phone one time, and she had a very transparent moment with a friend that she was mentoring, counseling, and she said some things, and it was like, wow, she has had an awakening to understand what was forced on her and what she chose, what she wanted versus what her parents wanted. And we did the same thing with me, and understanding the scarcity mindset. You know, my family is the type of family, her family isn't like this for the most part. on her dad's side at least. My family is a type of family that if I make $1 million, they would not see anything wrong with it if I took 250, gave my sister 250, gave my dad 250, gave my mom 250. They would, and regardless of the fact of me doing all the work, me making the sacrifice as an adult, my success don't come from childhood, because if it did, my sister would be just as successful. I had to make the sacrifices as an adult, but I come from the family to where my family believe in handouts. They believe in giving them money. Whereas it's some families that they don't want a dime from you. You know, they want you to be successful. Your success is your success. They raised you. You don't owe them nothing. They did what they were supposed to do as a parent. And so we had to talk through that, and still working through these things on our family side. So I say that to say, when you're doing these talks and you're getting to know your potential spouse, when you identify these problem areas, that you have to do a little digging. So if you were on a 12-month schedule of marriage, or getting engaged at 12 months and then setting the wedding out, you know, and another thing I would recommend, just go to the courthouse. Just go to the courthouse. People doing too much about a wedding. And again, that's from a fairy tale. It's from a movie about these weddings and all of this. And yeah, it's been weddings and all that from, I don't know, because Ruth and Boaz sound like they went down to the courthouse. And so you have to understand, we don't know what Joseph and Mary did. I ain't hear nothing about no elaborate wedding for them. So me and my wife got married in the courthouse. And I'll be honest with you, these courthouse marriages lasting longer than these $100,000 wedding marriages. And think about that logically. You finna spend $10,000. Do you have $10,000 toilet money? Because you want to look cute and fancy for your friends and family. But that $10,000 could be a down payment on a rental property that y'all finna rent out. That $10,000 and $10,000, that's modest. That's a little raggedy wedding. Be honest with you, that's a little in your home church wedding. Like, these weddings minimum $50K. And it's like, what can that $50K do? So you spending $50K really for other people to come and eat free food and watch y'all and place bets on how long they think y'all gonna last. That's what a wedding is. That's what a wedding is. That's not a marriage. A marriage is when you sign the dotted line and you stand in that courthouse and you say your vows before that witness and before God. That's all that matters, but that's unpopular. That's unpopular. People don't want to hear that, especially women do not want to hear that. Now, this music, the 99% of men ears, my wife ain't want to hear that. But when we got married, I said, listen, the most I probably could do with my family, we could come up with $2,500. That wedding was finna be slim. My wife, two best friends at the time was Nigerians. They mamas had become successful in home health companies. The companies where you got the nurses working with the elderly. And so they moms, and then their dads, Nigerians too, and they were successful in like the medical field or something like that. And so they could have been really millionaires. Her two best friends' parents probably net worth $1 million or more. And so my wife was, when I said $2,500, she was kind of embarrassed because, again, you're doing this for your friends and for your family, not for yourself. And then my grandma was living, and my grandma died that year. But my grandma said, baby, if that woman love you, she'll go right down in that courthouse and marry you. I sold that to my wife. Her face got sour. She did not want to hear that. She was unhappy. But we went down to the courthouse and we got married. And for us financially, we were pinching pennies. So a wedding just really didn't make sense logistically, financially. Now, I told her that I'm going to get her a wedding one day. And I'm praying one day I have $1 million that I could spend on a wedding. I'm praying, and I guarantee you she's going to go over budget by $200,000. And that's why I was telling her the other night. I said, baby, I want to give you a wedding, but you just can't stay in budget. I say, this the thing. I will do the wedding, but if I say this is the budget, this is the budget. You can't come back, I really like this. This is the budget. And so one of these days, me and wife gonna have a wedding. But look, we already got the successful marriage. This need to be the way to do it. It need to be go to the courthouse, get married, become a successful couple, stack your bread, earn a living, invest your bread. Then at your recreation, play money at your 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 25-year anniversary, then have the biggest wedding that you can afford and celebrate like that. That's the way it really need to be done. But ain't nobody teaching that now. And so listen to me. You taking your time. So if you on a 12-month plan and then something is uncovered, that something happened to your potential spouse as a child, and they haven't gone to therapy, they haven't unpacked that, they haven't worked through that, that may add 3 months to that 12 months. So now you at 15 months. If you find out something else, that may add another month. And you got up to 3 years now. This, of course, you got as long as you want. But I'm saying just, logically. You got up to 3 years to see if this the person for you. If you can help carry their baggage. Everybody gonna come with some baggage. And y'all got to be willing. Can y'all carry each other baggage? Is it too heavy? Everybody gonna have some hurt in their heart. Can you help heal his or her heart? Can they help heal your heart? I know it's taught and it's a cute phrase. Heal yourself before you go into a relationship. I say heal before deal in my book, Mrs. Wright. If you haven't read Mrs. Wright, it's on Amazon. I say heal before deal. It was a cute phrase. But it does not mean that that you're going to be 100% healed. You might be at best 80% healed. So that other 20%, love from your spouse is helping you heal. Love helps you heal. And so what I mean is you got to be healed to the point that you're not bleeding on your spouse. You got to be healed to the point that it's not sensitive to the touch. Now, the scar leaves a memory. So in healing, you have to get to the place to where the memory is not haunting or taunting or daunting. You have to get to the place to where the memory, you remember it, but you don't really feel it. You have healed it, so you don't really feel it anymore. You remember what happened, but it doesn't affect your choices. You're not making choices from a broken place. You're not making decisions from a broken place. You're making decisions from a whole place, from a healthy place, from a healed place. And so that's what you have to understand. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be 100% healed. Nobody's going to be your ideal fit. Nobody's going to be your ideal fit. Like, for example, you can look at a couple, and no matter what couple you look at, it's something wrong in that couple. Like, you could look at this celebrity couple that you think is beautiful, but the woman may have a natural body odor down there that is just when she have been sitting for an hour, just her natural scent is a little stronger. Her pH balance is extra salty. And the man, you know, is like, whoa, wow, you absolutely gorgeous, but you extra salty. And she gotta get something to keep that corrected. Now y'all stay out the comments with all y'all medical diagnosis and the stuff you learn on Google. I get tired of that. Anytime I say something, people in the comments, yeah, Tony, so do you know it's not actually healthy or normal for a woman's pH balance to be over such? Like, listen, that's not what the video is about. I'm glad you learned a little something, but that is not what the video about, okay? All right, please keep that keep the extra stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing out the comments, y'all. Please. You got to work on your emotional intelligence, okay? Come on now. Come on now. I love you. God bless you. And so the man may snore like a trumpet. Yes, I know snoring is not normal. Or that might be, oh, Tony, he may suffer from sleep apnea, so she needs to get that checked out. The man may have a cavity that he don't know about. So the breath is a little putrid. But he may be built like a Greek sculpture, ripped and chiseled. But that cavity got that mouth hot. And so no matter what couple you look at, it's something that they have to adjust to. It's something that they gotta be like, oh, okay, all right, this is you. I love you. And that's the reason why. It's because we humans. We're gonna put on weight. We're gonna have ingrown hairs in different places depending on the person. We're gonna have bad breath days. We're gonna have bad hair days. Men, we're gonna lose our hairline. We're gonna have wrinkles in our forehead or crow's feet. It's like something gonna happen to where we have to adjust, and we got to appreciate and love our spouse. And so I want you to understand that nothing is gonna be a fairy tale. Nothing is gonna be perfect, and work has to be done, but it can be done. So hey, get this in your spirit. Listen to this again and again and again, and understand that the message here is take your time. Take your time. Read between the lines. Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the red flags. And be okay walking away. Be okay walking away. If it's not a fit, don't force it. If it is not a fit, don't force it. Be okay walking away. And that is going to save you from being in the divorce court. And so just the thing. Don't make a decision out of lust. Don't make a decision out of necessity. Like when I look at celebrity marriages, I evaluate those marriages. And I look at this athlete and this singer. And I'll look and I'll say, okay, and this multiple athlete and singer couples, all right? So you don't know which one I'm talking about. Okay, it's a couple NBA ones, NFL ones, multiple athlete and singer couples. So don't y'all, oh, he talking about such side. And so when I look at this athlete and singer, I see the man wants her out of lust and fantasy. And the woman wants him because of stability, emotional stability, and financial stability. He is attracted to her sexually, but she is not attracted to him sexually. She does not normally see chemistry with this type of man. He can see chemistry with this type of woman anytime, but this type of woman has never wanted him. And that's why his ex looks nothing like this type of woman, because he has never been attracted to this type of woman. And she has never been attracted to this type of man. She's been attracted to the cool guy, the swaggy guy, the thug looking guy, the dope boy looking guy. And now, because she older and she see that these guys that's cool with swag are dogs, she wants a safe bet. And now, because he got money and fame, he want him a prime piece of loving. And so they come together for the wrong reasons, but it still can work because of their motivations. The same thing in other couples. So I analyze this and realize the same thing that's happening on the celebrity scale is happening in everyday life. Hey, it's Tony Guy. God bless you. We'll talk soon.